Hello, global friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey, and I am joining you today virtually for our 12 days of holidays, not Christmas, 12 days of holidays. So, because we're going to be on vacation, I decided to record this ahead of time so that I could at least give you some inspiration. So this session of lives, we're also adding on a special tip for each person will give you a tip, maybe coloring or how to create something with blending brushes, just nothing elaborate, just something simple. So my tip for you this time is how to create a hinged card. Now, in my mind today, I was thinking, you could just do this with a piece of cardstock and score it to make like an accordion. And that's fine if you want your card to just be a regular sized card or nothing special. But if you want it to have a fun shape, which is what we're going to do on this one, then you kind of need to do the hinge technique, which is, I don't know if that is a technique or not, but I made it up. So a while back, I made several of these cards, and they were super popular. And it uses the Garden Meadow, I think is the dies, the arched dies. And this works with all of our papers, like Meandering Meadow, Incredible Thoughtful Journey. There's a new one in the catalog called Autumn Expressions. So you still get the scene that's on the paper, and then you can have a place for your sentiment, and it stands up. I am a real sucker for standing up cards, that's just kind of my thing. I like them a lot. So I'm going to show you how to do this a little bit different, because we're going to use this Reindeer Fun, which is so super cute. And we don't have scenic paper for this one. So we're going to do a little something different, but it will be the same technique. Now, this is one of those, to me, stamp sets that has so many pieces. And if you want to do all the elaborate die cutting and coloring and all, this is great. But it also can be made simpler by using the DSP. So I'll show you how that's going to work too. So we have these cute deer, some sentiment, some jingle bells, a tree. These two stamps have dies that match them, and they do cut out some of the designer series paper. So that shortens some of your work. If you love coloring, you'll want to do the coloring. If you're wanting to make 20 cards, then you might want to use the DSP. So, and then it has the dies that go with it, and some extra dies that we'll talk about that aren't necessarily part of the stamping. So, and then the stamps. Now we do need these, so we'll go ahead and get them out. And I think that's what we need today, but I'm not positive. I have pre-cut some things just to save on time. So let's look at the cute paper. You have 6 different designs, well, 12 technically, if you look at front and back. So we have these fun little reindeer with their little head in a wreath. And then the back is just simple holly. Gift packages. Those are fun. Easy to cut out, just paper snip them if you want. And then these cute dies. Now, see, this we'll cut out this reindeer. The others you have to fussy cut, but you can get a couple out of one sheet of paper, and then you can enjoy fussy cutting. Some more reindeer having activities, jingle bells, some trees, and deer playing. This makes cute. Here's some more deer, and this one, this die cut will cut out that deer. So that saves you a little time. I love this one that's having a cup of coffee. You think we could do something with the latte stamp and a deer? Maybe so. And pretty plaid, Christmas lights, and prancing deer, reindeer. Okay, so we're going to do our die cutting of our paper, and instead of coloring today. Now, because I told you that we're not doing the card totally with the arches, we're kind of halfway doing it with the arches. So I went ahead and pre-cut these pieces. They are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's the DSP and thick basic white cardstock. Now we're going to keep the inside because we'll use that, and then this will be our card. So all of these are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we're going to do our stamping on the arch. But we need to go ahead and do our hinges, so we'll put these to the side. Now, of course, these are the colors I chose. You can do whatever makes you happy. Now we're going to butt these up close to each other. And for my hinges, I like to use just a lightweight paper like computer paper. This is one of our stamping sheets. It's not going to show, so it doesn't matter if it's got a, those little lines on it. It will not show through here. If it would show through, I would just, get a piece of paper out of the computer printer and chop it up. So this is 2 inches and just a hair less than 5 1/2. And I don't know why I chose to do it that way, but I did. So we're going to put some glue on both. Now I have seen people just run a whole piece of cardstock across, like a little 2-inch wide piece. But to me, the computer paper, or the little lightweight paper, is an easier fold. It's not so thick. And we just want to make sure our edges are as good as they can be. We'll let that dry while we do this one. I do have a tendency to go out of screen, and that's because this kind of bothers me. So I'm going to move it up, and that will help me not get out of screen so bad. Get that lined up. There we go. Now we've got glue there, but that's okay because we're going to put this here now. So we'll go ahead and put the middle one where that glue is. It's kind of in my way. And we can just put our frame on there. Now see, this also makes a much longer card than we have cardstock for, and until we get our 12 by 12, but I think this actually is even more than 12 by 12. Let's check to make sure we've got that on the, we do have that on the fold. Let's see how easy it folds over with the lightweight paper. Sometimes when a design is super busy, like all these prancing reindeer, I always like the opposite side that's a little calmer. Because then you can get more creative with those. They're not so distracting. Now we have our stand-up card here. Ooh, that one's wanting to, there we go. See if that's still folding nicely. It is. This one seems to be hanging off. I will trim that on the paper trimmer. So now we've got that ready. So now we'll let that kind of dry, and we're ready to do a little stamping. Now these are photopolymer, so we're going to use our mat. And the first one will be what goes in the middle. This is sort of cased from the catalog, but not quite so much. Because on the catalog, they use the circle wreath that comes with this set. And I'm going to show you how I used that for a different one in a few minutes. So we're just going to randomly stamp Merry Christmas to just create our own little background. Got a few little spots there, but I think they'll be okay because they'll mostly be hidden by some of our elements. So we can go ahead and put that in the center part of our card. This will give it a little more strength too. It'll make our card a little more stable. Now you might be tempted to put this on with the dimensionals, but because it's going to be folded up into thirds, you don't want it that much thicker, so we won't use quite as many dimensionals as I usually do. Right now we've got another one. We're just going to cover this with some snowflakes. It's a tiny little stamp. We just create our own little background. Turn it randomly so it's not quite so matchy-matchy. Okay. And we'll put this one here. even at this, it's a little more involved than some people like to put in a card. I think most of us like to get a card done, one and done. But every once in a while, you want to do something special. And this one, we're going to put some Christmas trees. Or evergreens, not necessarily Christmas. So we're going to use garden green and old olive. I'm actually going to do the old olive first. That way I don't have to clean in between because it's the lighter green. We'll stamp off and give that a little lighter color. And then we'll do one with garden green. I did not worry about this star. I could have wiped it off and then put it, use my marker to put yellow, but I'm just going to put some little yellow on top of it with Daffodil Delight. It's not going to bother me too much. It still looks, ooh, we could put some Wink of Stella on there, make it be sparkly. I'm always into some Wink of Stella. Now, I don't think we need those inks, so I'll put that out of the way. And now we have our third panel. So we're ready to start decorating, which I think is pretty cool. So if you were going to do this, you could make several at a time and then do your decorating all at one time, embellishing. Now this, I pre-cut most things. I did not pre-cut the reindeer. So we will do those. He's tangled up. So I just kind of roughly cut it out of the designer series paper. Always have glue on my fingers, so then everything moves. I think we can do both of these at the same time. I'll move this out of the way. And that mama and her baby, they're so cute. For Christmas, I usually get one kind of elegant stamp and one more whimsical. So this was my whimsical choice this time. What's your favorite? Those little chubby stars are kind of fun. I don't know what the name of them are. But these will fit in the mini cut and emboss. I think most all of these. Maybe the wreath might not fit. I'm not sure. But all the little smaller ones does not want to stay. Should fit. You don't have to get everything out if you can do it with the mini. Okay. Most of us know what it's like to have everything out on our desk that we own at one time. Until you can't find but 3 square inches of desk space. Then it's time to clean up. We'll see how these did. They don't always cut perfect. I try to snip some of the edges off. I think that one looks great. Maybe we'll be lucky with the next one. Not bad. A little bit of green showing, but it's not going to bother me too much. All right. Now this one here that we have with the little reindeer with the wreath, we do have to fussy cut it. Fortunately, it's not too hard, because you don't have to cut those antlers. You can just go around them. This is what you do while you're watching TV. Fussy cut all your card pieces. I guess actually you'd just be listening to TV, but sometimes, or commercials. Almost done here. I think that makes me, that's good enough for me on that one. Now all those elements that don't have stamps, we've got some packages with some ribbons, some bows, some holly, and some holly berries, and some jingle bells. I think that's what we're going to put on our cards for embellishments. So first we're going to put our little reindeer. See, that's going to cover up most of my mistakes. She'll just be our centerpiece there. Let's move it back up into the camera view. I might bring that down just a tiny bit. Okay, we've got some packages. We're going to put the bows on. You can choose all the colors you want. This is kind of the colors of the DSP. But as long as you have the red and green for Christmas, I think you're probably okay. I do love blue and pink, though, for Christmas. And always a little gold and silver. You gotta have that going. Got some more packages here. A little bow. And another bow. I can see something fun with these bows. Could let's put those over the reindeer's eyes and give him glasses. That's a little tricky with big fingers. Go ahead and glue this one down. Add that little bow to it. On these, I also go pretty light. I don't usually put bling unless it's super flat. But there's so many fun elements here. I think you're okay without too much bling. That covered up that smear. Perfect. And now we've got some packages. The bottom. Hold that down for a minute. And then I thought we'd just put some holly here. I was wondering about 2, so it would look fluffier. Yeah, I think so. The bottom one will kind of lay flat. And then the top one, you can fluff it up a little bit. Put it just a tiny bit off so you get that dimensional look. Oh, look, that holly is not the same on each side, so that's even cool. We'll put our holly berries there. And I don't know, do we want another one? I think so. We'll put one there. I just cut out several while I was chopping. This is one you can cut 2 at a time. Usually don't want to go past that fold there. Some you can do that, some of our dies, and then others are a little more intricate. You can't always do 2 at a time. I think that time how cute is that? I think, well, anybody would like this, but can't you see your grandchild just thinking these are the cutest things? Their special card. So that's our center one. Now let's find our little reindeer. Here, we'll put that one. It'd be fun if we had some grass. I know some of our dies would cut some grass. Maybe Grassy Grove, or I'm not sure. Or you could just freehand some grass. Where's all our extra pieces here? Oh, here's our, we put 2 little jingle bells there. My hands are not cooperating today, so we'll use those tweezers. Probably want to turn that, yeah, so we can put a bow up there. Remember a couple years ago we had a stamp set with the big jingle bell. I loved that stamp set. Used it a lot. Now if you wanted to put something extra on there, you certainly could, but I don't know that you have to. Now our next one will be our little prancy dancy reindeer. Frolicking through the pine trees. And, we have some of our cute Christmas lights. This is what I thought we would do for this one. I'm going to put some glue on my silicone mat and dip this in it, so I'm sorry, that is off screen, but you can do that on a piece of scrap paper. The silicone mat is perfect for that. Now those aren't super exciting, but we're going to take the red ones and cut them off. We're going to make it every other one red and green. I don't know how many we need, but we'll just chop. If we can find them, they're flying everywhere. And we'll dip these in some Tombow. We could put 2 strands of lights, but I kind of liked the multicolor. This just takes a tiny little bit of Tombow. Looks like we need one more. Since they all went flying, I don't know where they went. So we'll cut one more. There it is, right there by the reindeer's foot. All right, there's our standing card. Now on the back, you can put your sentiment. You can add a little more embellishments if you wanted to. But now this will fold up and still go in your envelope. I'm going to take my paper trimmer and trim that off. So that was my hint, to use the lightweight paper for your hinge, and it will work perfectly. So then when I was playing around with these, I thought, well, we'll just try a different one, and we'll keep trying until we're happy with it. And I'm happy with this one. I like it. But I also did this one, and I did these, let's see, are these 4 1/4 inch squares. So then this ends up being about 13.5 inches. Now this was all done with the die cuts, but then these were colored with blends. And it took quite a bit longer, but it's still cute. And look at that wreath, the little reindeer. And this is the reindeer die cut. So that's a little more elaborate. And then I thought, well, that's a lot of work. So then I did it using the die cuts from the DSP. So you have all these options of how you can make a hinged card. You know, really more involved, avid, semi-avid for these others. It kind of depends on what you like. Now, thinking about these hinge with like the arches, you could do this with the countryside corner dies and have that hexagonal die cut. You could use this die and put 3 of these together, and that would be what you hinged together. Any of the larger frame kind of dies that we have can be turned into a hinged card. I know that the other global stampers will have lots of inspiration for you, and I do appreciate you watching. Even though this is a recording, they're not quite as exciting when they're live, but you know, that's life, isn't it? Anyway, you'll be able to come back and watch over and over and over again all the ones that are your favorites. All right. I will hope this week goes well for everybody. Enjoy our 12 days of holidays.